Welcome to the Westport Library. Today's program will begin momentarily. Supported by Verso Studios, created locally and shared with the world.
Good evening. If the congregants could find a seat or grab a glass of wine before you find a seat, that'd be best. We're going to get started momentarily.
There's your monitor. This is your clicker. It's on. That's forward. That's forward. That's forward. That's forward. Just sit down.
Good evening, and thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I'm Doug Weber, the publisher and editor of Westport Journal. This panel tonight is one of a series of live events we're doing to help connect our readers with informed sources, the people who actually make the news that we then report. Westport Journal Live is sponsored by a wonderful group of people who just happen to be terrific realtors. The KMS team at Compass is a leader in the Westport residential real estate market. They've been a client of ours since before we launched more than 4 years ago. Without KMS, Westport Journal wouldn't exist. And through their sponsorship, Westport Journal is able to put on a number of live events throughout the year, entertaining thousands of Westporters and pulling us as a community closer together. Tonight, we're in for a real treat. We've got 5 experts on the Connecticut culture scene sharing with us what they think will be the most outstanding cultural events of the fall season. I'm going to tell you who they are now, and then I'll introduce them individually before their segment. We will have time for questions. To my far right, Mark Shanahan from the Westport Country Playhouse, Lori Jones from the Quick Center for the Arts, Heather McAlpin, freelance book critic, Carey Mack Weber, Fairfield University Art Museum, and Susan Granger, movie reviewer with the SSG Syndicate. Mark Shanahan has been the artistic director of the Westport Country Playhouse since 2024, but his history with the Playhouse goes back 2 decades. He first appeared there on stage back in 2005 and has since done more than 20 script and hand readings. He may tell us more about his delightful interpretations of Sherlock Holmes and his work with the Agatha Christie estate. We are especially proud to be hosting Mark tonight as the curtain will rise on the Playhouse 95th season in about 40 minutes. He'll have to book out right after he talks, so let's give a very warm welcome to Mark Shanahan.
Thank you, Doug. First of all, no one told me there was wine. I could have had wine. That's good. Thank you. Is that working? We'll figure it out when we get there. All right, I'll give it back. See, this is what happens when you don't show up to rehearsal, I guess. I'm so delighted to speak with you and to be invited to sit alongside everyone here who's talking about the incredible things that are happening within a stone's throw. It really is a remarkable thing to think about the vibrant cultural scene that surrounds us and the ways in which we're also lucky to participate in the arts in so many ways. Yes, Doug's right. In just a few minutes, I'm supposed to leave here, and it's a good thing that the Playhouse is I could walk if I have to, right? Is not so far away because I'm supposed to do a curtain speech. So you're my warm-up act here to make sure I feel okay about it as we open tonight over at the Playhouse. But before I get to talk a little bit about the Playhouse, I just want to also say the Playhouse is just one of many theaters in the region. And I'd like to point out that even as we speak, this weekend is the closing weekend at the Ivoryton Playhouse for My Fair Lady, directed by my good friend Brian Feehan, who would be very angry if I didn't mention his name because I worked for him so many years ago, and he's a great inspiration. But it's a wonderful production, and all throughout the region coming up this fall from Hartford Theater Works, which is actually a place I've also loved working in. They are doing a play called English. Hartford Stage is opening Rope. ACT is opening Almost Famous soon. And we got an email from someone today at Crystal Theater down in Norwalk reminding us that Requiem for a Heavyweight is playing there and Long Wharf is playing Torreira. When you just go on and Google what's happening in my area in the arts and the theater, you'll find that there's always a drivable distance to go to some incredible theater. You don't have to go into Manhattan, though. I hope you do, and go see a Broadway or off-Broadway show and support the theater, because the theater needs us. The theater needs all of you, not only to support it, but also to bring a friend. The Playhouse is just right up the road, is entering, believe it or not, its 95th year. How about that tonight? Pretty fantastic. It is such a gem of an institution in this area, and I am so proud to have worked there in different capacities for so long. First as an actor, then as a writer and director, a curator of the Script in Hand series, and then actually in 2023, stepping in as our artistic director at a moment where the theater, as many of you know, was in a crisis moment, as so many theaters around the country have been, about whether it could actually survive post-COVID in a changing landscape. And I'm proud to say that this community has shown up. Our wonderful leadership, inspired by our board president, Athena Adamson, who put together a great team to try to keep the Playhouse moving along, is really, we love working there. We love the place, and one of the things I love so much about it is that the people who show up tell us, my grandmother took me here, I'm bringing my grandchild, and it is a generational and institutional experience for so many. Tonight when we open at 7 p.m. Tuesdays with Maury for a short run, which is only going 4 performances through this weekend. We have the great Len Cariou on our stage, the first Sweeney Todd, actually, and also maybe you know him from Blue Bloods. And it reminds me that we're so lucky because we can always call on incredible actors. Being 45 miles from Times Square does have its benefits. We call on great designers and actors, and then we're able to put together fantastic, wonderful performing arts on the stage right here for you as well. And we were really thrilled last year that what we called the Season of Laughter of comedies was really successful. And so this fall, as we kick off with Tuesdays with Maury, we are also proud to then present in the closing days of October a 3-week run of Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest. You can see our season right behind me. Thanks for doing that, Doug. I'm sorry that I'm not technologically doing well with this. All right, I appreciate it. And believe it or not, in 95 years, the Westport Country Playhouse has never produced The Importance of Being Earnest. It seems like the Playhouse has produced every other play under the sun. But Oscar Wilde's classic masterpiece has never been put on our stage. And so we're really excited to take this very funny, very vibrant, and exciting play from the late 1800s and see what it means in 2025. Reading it out loud the other day with a few actors, I noticed that it speaks to this moment in a particularly interesting way, dealing with hypocrisy and double lives and double speaking. And it's still a very wildly wonderful, funny play. And we have a really wonderful design that we're looking at to put on our stage and build a beautiful set. I hope you'll be able to come to that as well. And then at the holidays, we are proud to once again bring up, I get to say this because my name, as you can say from behind it, is writer and director, is A Sherlock Carol, a play I wrote with a great love for the character of Sherlock Holmes from when I was a boy, but also a great love for Charles Dickens and A Christmas Carol. And I decided to put these two ideas together and mix and match the characters so that the two stories seamlessly blend together. We ran it 2 years in New York. It did very well. It's playing its 4th year in London. It's being performed all around the world. But one of the things I was really proud of is that when I asked our cast from New York, would you guys like to come up and do it at the Westport Country Playhouse? Within 30 minutes of my asking, everyone had signed up. Our designers said absolutely, and we were able to bring that show up to the Playhouse with it from the original production. And it did so well the last 2 years that we're bringing it back for our 3rd year. And it's a great piece for grandparents or parents to bring children to as well. Throughout the rest of the fall, we also have some script in hand play readings, which have become a signature thing at the Playhouse, where actors come for 5 hours of rehearsal, and then 500 people show up, and the actors after dinner go, "Oh my God, there are 500 people here?" And then we go out and do a play reading of some remarkable plays. We do 8 of them a year, and some of them are classic plays, and some of them are brand new plays too. We're trying to have a vibrant mix of material. We have one coming up Monday night, actually, at 7 p.m. It's called The One Good Thing, or Are You Patrick Swayze? It's a fantastic two-hander that is brand new, that is about 2 brothers on the Irish coast who sort of thrash out their relationship with a hint of the supernatural to it, as any good Irish play should have. And as the season goes on, we have 2 more script in hands. We have our annual gala on October 4th, honoring our own beloved Annie Keefe, as well as the great Nathan Lane. Annie Keefe should get a round of applause anytime her name is mentioned. I love that. Or maybe you're saying for Nathan Lane, but I'm saying it's for Annie Keefe. And then also later this month, Alec Baldwin is coming with a reading of a wonderful play with Stephanie Zimbalist called The Fitzgeralds, for those of you who are fans of F. Scott and Zelda. We have so much coming up at the Playhouse, and if you can check from comedy to film screenings, I'm hosting a night of talking about Psycho in October, for those of you who are Halloween-minded. Our website is filled with things, because what we tried to do is make sure that the Playhouse always has something every week that is a year-round venue for you, not just a summer theater, but it's a place where our Barnstormer series has allowed local artists to flourish, that we're able to bring in people from all different walks of life. And we're so proud of the support we get from you, because no nonprofit can run on ticket sales alone. We require people to donate, but also show up and bring someone. It's your support that makes it all worthwhile, because that's what we're there. A theater is only good if it's serving its audience. We hope that you'll be there this fall, and we hope that when the curtain rises within this hour and the 95th year is underway, that it's a great one for all of you, and you'll be there to join us for it. So I'm not supposed to talk about what happens after, but you've already seen the other titles, so that's only for the fall. Thanks so much, Doug, for having me.
Thank you, Mark.
All right.
Hello? Hi. Before Mark has to dash off, does anybody have any questions about drama in Fairfield County this fall? Nobody? Okay, Mark, you're free to go.
All right, the curtain's about to rise. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Let's give a little...
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
All right, then I will jump in. It's me, Doug.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Since her days at NC State, Lori Jones has been a tireless organizer and producer of cultural events. Over the last decade, Lori has probably brought together more cutting-edge performances to Fairfield County than any other individual. As Director of Programming and Operations at the Quick Center for the Arts at Fairfield University, she scoured the globe for interesting and provocative dancers, musicians, intellectuals, and thought leaders. If you've been to the Quick, you know what a delight it can be. If you have not been, check it out by clicking on the next Quick Center ad you happen to see in Westport Journal. Let's offer Lori Jones a warm Westport welcome.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. This doesn't sound, okay, now we're on. So I'm going to jump right in. First and foremost, I want to thank Doug for having the Quick Center as part of this program, seeing as how we're not based in Westport. But a lot of who we serve is coming from your community and our communities. So I'm hoping what I can share will give you sort of a reason to move into other communities, see what's going on, and then sharing a little bit about the Quick. So first, I want to speak about this incredible project that's taking place right now at the Yale Schwartzman Center. What's kind of unique is that Yale took what is a dining hall experience and expanded it to also be an arts and culture space. And so they have this beautiful space within the Schwartzman that's called the Dome. And so you can experience Celestial Garden, which was created by a renowned visual artist and also a graduate of Yale from the class of 1990, Leo Villarreal. And the work is designed so that 10 projections are going on at one point in time with a soundscape. There's plush seats and like the carpet's really plush. You can come in and really take advantage of having the full experience for a period of time. So we definitely encourage you to check that out. Next, I'm going to encourage you to head up to Middletown and Wesleyan Center for the Arts. We have incredible colleagues up there, and just in a couple weeks' time, they're going to be offering the Elite Syncopation, Music of the Harlem Renaissance. This is a free event, and it's going to happen in the Cromwell Hall, Concert Hall. I think what's really unique and exciting is that and I'll speak more about America 250, but as our country celebrates our 250th year of existence in 2026, I think a lot of presenters are considering, how we think about our history and how we look at our future as a country. This particular concert highlights with this quintet the music of Jelly Roll Morton and Duke Ellington and other composers, so really highlighting the jazz and the history of an incredible American art form. So I think it'll be an exciting program. Then I'm going to encourage you, if you haven't gone to the Nice Fest yet, it's the 9th anniversary. It's in Norwalk. It is a free festival, and they have over 50 exhibitors, restaurants, artists, crafts, so many different things to engage with. I was jotting down for myself sort of the different kinds of music and dance that are featured, which includes this year reggae, African rhythm, Balinese dance, the Connecticut Chinese Dance Ensemble. So it really is a wide range, and most of the ensembles that are performing are actually from Connecticut. So they're based here and representing the vastness of the different people that live in our own communities. So I think it's a fun day. It's from like 12 to 8. There's great family activities, and it's a great way to really enjoy something in the outdoors. I'm also going to highlight Orchestra Lumos. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Orchestra Lumos. They do a lot of their performances down at the Palace in Stamford. This particular concert is Wynton and All That Jazz, and so you might imagine that does reference Wynton Marsalis. He is not actually performing as part of the concert, but they are featuring a violin concerto that he composed. And so Orchestra Lumos is doing a whole program this year titled American Gems, and it's really about honoring the America 250 and highlighting not just composers of the past, but also composers of today, which Wynton is. And so they'll have the 2 performances at the Palace coming up. And then I'm going to jump into what we have coming up at the Quick Center for the Arts. So just as a reminder to folks, most of our events tickets are $35. If you're a member, it's only $25, so we encourage your membership. A lot of events are available and open to families, and we really, we always highlight, free parking, and we've got great snacks for you to grab ahead of time, but I think it's really about the experience overall. We believe that we present really high caliber artistic and cultural experiences, and it is our 35th anniversary. So we are excited to celebrate that. As part of Fairfield University, we are part of a larger theme that we've titled America 250, and it's the promise and paradox of our country. And so we, as well as the Fairfield University Art Museum, the Center for Arts and Minds, and about 13 other programs are presenting a lot of public events. And if you've seen the recent Fairfield University Center for Arts and Minds brochure, you might have been a little bit overwhelmed by how much we have coming up this fall. So I'm going to narrow it down to just a few, but we really have quite a robust season ahead of us. And a lot of those programs are also free, so I encourage you to check that out with our website at quickcenter.com. So first up, I'm going to highlight Rebecca Lazier, who is a Princeton-based professor. She created this new piece over a 5-year period in partnership with engineering professors at their university in a new collective that they've created. She was challenged to think of how engineering can impact her work as a choreographer and dancer and director. And so she decided to work with this incredible visual artist, Janet Eckelman. And so you'll see in the image there are these 2 stunning nets that Janet created, and it's through the partnership. Usually Janet's work is over like huge city centers, sort of these incredible netted sculptures. But what's unique about this is that 8 dancers move through those 2 nets, and the nets change. They change shape, they change form, they're on the ground, they're up in the sky. So it really had to be this very kinetic experience. So the piece Noli Timere in Latin means be not afraid, and it's really about how we all impact one another, that we have to do it as a collective. And so we're really excited to share this work on that Friday evening. In addition to that, we are doing a school matinee performance. It's a relaxed performance, so if that's something that suits you and your family, feel free to reach out to our box office and we can provide tickets for that. We also have the Silk Road Ensemble coming up this year, which we're really excited about, and they'll be with Wumon, the amazing pipa player. They are bringing back a tour that they did a few years ago titled American Railroad. And this is a project, Silk Road Ensemble was created by Yo-Yo Ma, but is now under the artistic direction of Rhiannon Giddens. And her work as an American artist who specializes especially in Southern and American folklore, she really felt like it was important to share the stories of the people whose backs created the American railroad system, that the success of our country was really built on the backs of. And so in a week-long residency, they will be with us. We're gonna be doing cultural events with the food of the American Railroad. We're also gonna have a school performance with this. And then on the Friday evening, we will have the Silk Road Ensemble with us on our stage. We're really honored to be working with them and to have this project with us. And then I'm just gonna highlight our newly titled Philip I. Eliasoff Open Visions Forum series. Our Open Visions Forum series has been around for 28 years under Dr. Eliasoff's direction, and we're really excited. We have so many incredible speakers coming up this year, but I just wanted to highlight that we do have Padma Lakshmi coming to be with us on Thursday, November 13th. There's an opportunity to do a meet and greet beforehand at the newly opened Delamar Westport. There are tickets available for that, but all of the tickets that you purchase for this event will include her brand new book, Padma's All-American. So if you're a huge fan of her from Top Chef, or perhaps from her other cookbooks or Taste the Nation, it's a great way for you to come and be in the room with her. And then I'm gonna leave it to that.
Thank you,
There's so much more.
For that, thank you very much, Lori. Really appreciate it. Sounds like a lot of stuff is happening this fall. Helen McAlpin's roots in literature go back to her grad school days when she started working on her novel Nostalgia, which was published by Scribner in 1982. Heller has been a freelance book reviewer for more than 35 years. She estimates that during that time, she's reviewed a couple of thousand books, read several thousand more, and skimmed and decided not to read even more. And Heller, over the holidays, how much do you tip your postal carrier? Heller's reviews have been published in the Wall Street Journal, the Los Angeles Times, the Washington Post, San Francisco Chronicle, NPR.org, Christian Science Monitor, the New York Times, and many other publications. In the interest of full disclosure, Helen and I are in-laws to the same matriarchal clan, and we spent a lot of time together in Chatham, Massachusetts. Let's give a warm welcome to Heller McAlpin.
Oops. It's classic. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Books, books, books. As always, there's a hurricane of literary fiction and nonfiction, my beat, heading our way this fall. I hope something on this list will spark your interest. If literary biographies and memoirs float your boat, you're in luck. Here are some highlights on the nonfiction front. Stephen Greenblatt's Dark Renaissance offers a gripping read about the short, daring life of Elizabethan dramatist and poet Christopher Marlowe, a contemporary of Shakespeare's. Greenblatt makes an eloquent case for the groundbreaking beauty and sly unorthodoxy of Marlowe's plays, including Dr. Faustus. But he also investigates the murky circumstances of Marlowe's murder at 29, creating a page-turning book out of this book of scholarship. And his chilling portrayal of Elizabeth I's brutally repressive reign is a timely reminder of the damage wrought by unchecked power. In Arundhati Roy's Mother Mary Comes to Me, the author of The God of Small Things tells us where she and her dazzling debut novel came from. This memoir is in part Roy's attempt to understand the harsh mother of the title, a bullying powerhouse who was never one to let it be. Yet Mary Roy, who started an influential school in Kerala, India, shaped the free-spirited, headstrong, risk-taking writer her daughter became. Like Arundhati Roy's novels and political essays, the book pulses with compassion and moral outrage. In Joyride, Susan Orlean writes, "The story of my life is the story of my stories." Her memoir takes us behind the scenes of her beloved nonfiction books, which include The Orchid Thief, Rin Tin Tin, and The Library Book. It also offers advice for writers and other creative aspirants about coming up with ideas, chasing leads, and staying the course despite doubts. I'm drawn to Francesca Wade's Gertrude Stein and Afterlife because I loved square haunting, her innovative intellectual and social history that took the form of a series of juicy mini biographies of 5 trailblazing women, including Dorothy Sayers and Virginia Woolf, who lived in Bloomsbury's Mecklenburg Square at some point between 1916 and 1940. I can't just talk about forthcoming books. This one I love so much, I've got to tell you about it. But in Gertrude Stein and Afterlife, Wade writes about another trailblazing woman. This entertaining literary biography is unusual because half the book focuses on Gertrude Stein's afterlife, which was strenuously curated and shaped by her surviving partner, Alice B. Toklas. Wade's 2-part structure, Life and Afterlife, lifts the curtain on the detective work involved in biography. So you learn a lot about just what it takes to write a biography, too. Patti Smith's National Book Award-winning 2010 memoir about her relationship with Robert Mapplethorpe, Just Friends, let us know she can write, and she's been doing it ever since. Oops. Did I get it? Yes. No. No. Nope, that's the wrong one. Too far. A bridge too far. Oh, I don't know where it is. Anyway, no, Patti Smith, and that's okay. I don't have a picture of Patti Smith's book because the publisher hasn't sent it to me yet, and I'm supposed to review it. That's the kind of, that's a reviewing emergency. Not yet, though, because it's not coming out till November. But anyway, her latest memoir, Bread of Angels, concerns her post-World War II childhood in working-class Philly and South Jersey, her rise as a punk rock icon, and a retreat from public life after starting a family with Fred Sonic Smith. This is what we're up to. On the fiction front, some of the books causing excitement are Kiran Desai's The Loneliness of Sonia and Sonny. It's a long, nearly 700-page saga about the titular couple and their family over a lifetime. It's already being hailed as a masterpiece. Ian McEwan's latest, What We Can Know, is a literary love story and a murder mystery that centers on a legendary dinner party at which a poem was recited, heard once but lost for all time. I haven't read it yet, but McEwan describes the book as, quote, science fiction without the science, a novel about history and what we can know of it and of each other. Incidentally, his not entirely successful 2019 novel, Machines Like Me, also flirted with science fiction, with AI gone amok in a love triangle that included a, quote, synthetic human. I'm making sure I'm on the right page, yes. Lily King's, one of the books I'm most excited by this season is Lily King's Heart the Lover. A worthy follow-up to Friends and Lovers, it's another irresistible, heartbreaking, and heartwarming story about love, passion, forgiveness. Too much going on here. Finding one's way and the lasting ramifications over decades of the mistakes, along with good decisions we make in life. King's deeply sympathetic narrator takes us back to her senior year in college and her heady but frequently fraught relationships with 2 star students in her 17th century lit class, best friends Sam and Yash. The narrator will feel vaguely familiar to King's avid fans, though until the last line we know her only by the nickname the guys give her, Jordan, after Gatsby's flapper, Jordan Baker. This book it's a tearjerker. It's just fantastic. Anna North's Bog Queen is a dual timeline narrative about a brilliant American forensic anthropologist and misfit named Agnes who becomes caught up in a mystery of an eerily preserved 2,000-year-old female corpse recovered from a bog in northwest England. The Iron Age body draws the interest of various competing factions, including archaeologists, industrialists, peat cutters, and environmental activists, and neo-pagans, of course. This atmospheric novel draws connections across time between Agnes and the Bog Queen, actually a druid, two gifted young women striving to harness their strange powers. It's a strange book, but really pretty fascinating. Another novel I'm excited about is Frode Greiten's The Ferryman. Now it's time to turn the page. Nope. There we go. The Ferryman and His Wife, the first of this prize-winning Norwegian writer's work to be translated into English. It's the kind of beneath-the-radar surprise I live for as a critic. I was just sent it out of the blue. A direct translation of its Norwegian title is The Day Niels Vik Died, and that's what it is, basically. We accompany this lifelong ferryman on the fjords after he leaves his house for the last time on a cold November morning to ply his old routes in his beloved boat, stopping to pick up the ghosts of the people and dog whose lives he touched. It's a gorgeous, understated book, and it's about the impact a good man can have on others, but it's also about the realizations of our blind spots, what we've missed that come to us only later, sometimes too late. Catherine Newman's Wreck is a sequel to her best-selling Sandwich. 2 years later, we're back in Western Mass with forever frazzled Rocky, her husband Nick, and the family we met during their annual vacation on Cape Cod. Once again, Newman explores with wit and empathy the knotty webs we weave, tangling up even our most beloved. And Olivia Lang's The Silver Book, it's a kind of noirish thriller, part queer love story, and it's an imagined account of the months leading up to Pier Paolo Pasolini's murder in 1975. She's best known for The Lonely City. Other notable big books of the season include John Irving's Queen Esther, a sequel to The Cider House Rules, Thomas Pynchon's Shadow Ticket, his first novel in 12 years about a Milwaukee private eye in an international spy intrigue chasing a missing heiress that's set in 1932 Hungary. And then Gish Jen's Bad, Bad Girl, a novel based on her mother. If you hear a trend, there's a lot of mysteries going on. People, you know, even in literary fiction, they're putting mysteries in there to pique our interests. I have one footnote to this list. It's a book that's dear to my heart. It's, you might have missed it this summer. It's Ben Weisenbach's book of narrative nonfiction, North to the Future. Ben is a young writer I've mentored, a former student of John McPhee's, and his first book is a pay-in to McPhee's Coming into the Country, which was a book I worked on when I was in college, or just out of college. North to the Future, whose title comes from Alaska's state motto, is a beautifully written mix of climate change science and adventure stories, some of which involve scary encounters with bears. He did field work to study one of the fastest migrating forests in the world under the aegis of 3 pioneering researchers, and he captures them in all their eccentricity. It's also a personal cri de coeur from a member of a generation that's grown up with screens in their pockets, stressing the importance of learning to re-engage with the real world before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Heller. Much appreciated. Next up is Carey Mack Weber. Carey has been devoted to art her entire life. She worked in the commercial side of the art business in New York at auction houses and galleries for more than a decade. Well after she moved to Westport, she landed a job as the visual resources curator at Fairfield U, just as Fairfield was putting meat on the bones of building an actual art museum. Carey became the Fairfield University Art Museum's assistant to the director under the first 2 directors over the first 5 years. Then the university came to its senses and named Carey the director, a position she's held for 15 years. Carey and her staff produce 6 to 8 shows each year, each with a vigorous program of talks, lectures, tours, and academic cross-fertilization. In the interest of full disclosure, Carey and I are married. Let's give a warm welcome to Carey Mack Weber.
Thank you, Doug.
On your lips, on your lips.
Yes, thank you, Doug. Thank you. There's so much, I don't know how to do this in 12 minutes. Okay. We are so lucky to live in Fairfield County and in Connecticut, where we have some of the greatest museums in the country. We have, fun fact, 2 of the oldest museums in the country. People who know me have already heard this, but Yale University Art Gallery and the Wadsworth Atheneum. 1835 is Yale University Art Gallery. Wadsworth is 1842. Only the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, which started as really a school, is older, 1805. But I mean, we have such history and such richness. There is so much I could talk about. I don't know how to do it in 12 minutes, but I'm going to do my best. We're going to start at Yale. It seemed appropriate. This show has been up for a while. It's George Romney, Brilliant Contrasts in George and England. Romney was a fellow painter, along with his slightly better known compatriots, Thomas Gainsborough and Sir Joshua Reynolds. He's best known for his beautiful, beautiful portraits of his wealthy patrons, but he was also a musician and built musical instruments, and this show includes musical instruments from Yale's collection. It's been up for a while. Some of you may have seen it, but it's ending soon. So if you haven't, I recommend it. And if you haven't, for some reason, been to the Yale Art Gallery and the Yale Center for British Art, it is very much worth a trip. They are always free and open to the public, and they are right across the street from each other on Chapel Street in New Haven, and it's a great, great trip. In our own hometown here of Westport, we have the fantastic Mocha CT. They have an incredible show up right now of Todd Papa George's beautiful, large-scale black and white photographs at the beach. These are photographs of LA beaches in the 70s and 80s. Papa George was a professor of photography at Yale School of Art, and he influenced generations of photographers. They have a companion exhibition showing the work of his students as MFA students from the Yale School of Art, also on view. And since Larry Silver, our illustrious photographer of Westport and many other places, is in the audience, I have to shout out that he will be speaking at MoCA on Saturday. I don't have the time at hand, but please look it up. They have a big group of programs relating to this exhibition. And I want to say every museum in Connecticut, much less the world, including ours, has a great array of programs, and many of them are free. So please always think about that. You could literally spend every day and every night just going to museums and going to their programs. There's stuff for families, there's stuff for kids, there's lectures, films. I can't talk about programs here. We just are going to stick with the exhibitions. Okay, onward. William Blake, Burning Bright, at the Yale Center for British Art, right across the street from the Yale University Art Gallery. Blake was really one of the most compelling figures in in British art, and not just a visual artist, also a poet. He created these fantastical figures. The exhibition includes his paintings, watercolors, books, poetry, not to be missed. Onward. We are going to go to Hartford Art School Galleries, which, one word of note, these galleries are fantastic, but they are in the middle of the Hartford Art School campus, so do a little map and take it with you so that you can find them. A little hard to find. But this, if you like contemporary art, this show, I think, is going to be fantastic. The curator has been working on it for a few years, and it is this incredible blend of contemporary art and tattoo art. She's found 15 international artists who, working in a variety of media, a wide array of media, who also are tattoo artists, who do tattoos. So it is this convergence, this global convergence of these two media, and I think I can't wait to see it. Sadly, it is opening on the same night as one of my exhibitions, so I can't be there, but I encourage all of you to go to one of those two next we have my show opening. The following week, I have 2 shows opening. As Lori so kindly spoke about, at Fairfield, we are really leaning into the semi-quincentennial and commemorating the 250th anniversary of our country, signing of the Declaration of Independence. And this exhibition I wanted to highlight because it really is capturing that most significantly. The image that you see on the screen is one of the featured works in the show. It shows the statue of King George III being pulled down by the revolutionaries. It kind of sums up what the exhibition is about, how the monuments in this country, monument making and monument breaking is sort of what our country is about, and we've been doing it since the very beginning, and we continue to do it. This was organized by the New York Historical. Some of you may have had the opportunity to see it there in 2022, but if you didn't, I hope you will come see it in Fairfield. And the other exhibition I just want to mention opens September 11th in the Walsh Gallery. This is in our Bellarmine Hall galleries. It's about artwork created by prisoners in Angola prison, quilts made by prisoners in Angola prison, and then artwork created through the Connecticut Prison Arts Program in an array of media. And then I can't help but mention in January, our 3rd exhibition in the suite of semi-quincentennial exhibitions is a show that I curated that will be all about the American flag. 75 works celebrating, well, okay. Interrogating the American flag from World War I through the present day. I encourage you to come to that. It opens in mid-January. And in Ridgefield at the Aldrich Contemporary Art Museum, this show of work by Uman, who is a Somali-born, New York-based artist, just was named by Artsy one of the must-see shows of the fall, which is a really big deal, like 10 shows globally, and this was one of them. So they're telling you you must see it. I'm telling you you must see it, so I think. If you don't know what Artsy is, I don't have time to tell you, but just Google it. And I think you'll really enjoy it. It's a platform worth knowing about. But are you cutting me off? I'm not done. Artsy is sorry.
You just told people to look it up.
I told them to look up Artsy. Sorry, we're gonna argue on stage. The exhibition includes paintings, drawings, video, and sculptures by this Somali-born artist that it is memories of her childhood in East Africa. And I can't wait to see it. It should be spectacular. Okay. Initially, I was just gonna speak about museums, but Westport Journal got a press release yesterday about this exhibition, and I really wanted to take a moment to talk about galleries and mention that there are many, many wonderful galleries from Greenwich throughout the state, and I can only have time to mention one, but this is really a museum quality exhibition because John Schuler is an artist I know well. We have his work in our collection, the Housatonic Museum of Art, which is a fantastic museum in Bridgeport you should check out. Had an exhibition of his work two or 3 years ago. He is a second-generation abstract expressionist, best known for his paintings of clouds and the atmosphere. He was a visiting artist at the Yale School of Art for a number of years. Anyway, this should be a beautiful show in Greenwich. I encourage you to go see it. At the New Britain Museum of American Art, one of the very few museums dedicated to American art in our country. Fantastic if you've never been there. A little bit further afield, sorry, we're leaving our comfort zone of Fairfield County, but I think this is, if you like Norman Rockwell, I think this is gonna be a fantastic exhibition. It's organized by the Norman Rockwell Museum in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Over 70 photographs, tear sheets, paintings, and drawings that span Norman Rockwell's career and really show how he used photography in his artistic practice and how those photographs were authentic expressions of his vision. So I think a must-see. And getting us to December, plenty to see at the Bruce before then, but I was really excited about these two shows. And if you've not been to the new Bruce Museum in Greenwich since they reopened after their huge expansion and renovation, I strongly encourage you to go. I know you all leave Westport and you turn right and you go to New York. You don't turn left and come to Fairfield or go to New Haven. You can stop at the Bruce on your way to New York. It's fantastic, but these two shows, Leonardo Drew is an incredible sculptor, internationally known, happens to have been born in Bridgeport, so we claim him as our own. These are works on paper, which are incredible to me. They are so three-dimensional. 20 works on paper created over the last 2 decades with pigmented paper pulp, sand string, calcium carbonate, and paint chips. I can't wait to see them. And then, try and do this, Ursula von thank you. Survey of her work from the last 20 years, from her 5-decade-long career. These works are probably about 7 or 8 feet tall. They are massive, and she carves them out of wood. They're spectacular. This show will include works on paper that help to illuminate her process. Last slide. I'm president of the Connecticut Art Trail, which my husband didn't mention in my bio. It's a volunteer position. But Janice Egan from MoCA CT and I will be at the wine table afterwards. If you want to buy a passport, no pressure, but I do want you to know that the way to know everything that's happening in Connecticut about museums is just to get the newsletter, which is free. Just go online and sign up for it, or just to follow them, CTR Trail, on social media, because the post today was about everything I just told you, basically. It's just a way to stay informed. All of the museums I mentioned are on the CTR Trail. So, do I have time for one more thing? Nope. 4 museum shows to see in New York, because I know you turn right. 60s Surreal at the Whitney, Monet in Venice at the Brooklyn Museum, Divine Egypt at the Met, and Wilfredo Lamb at MoMA.
Thank you very much, Carey. Very much appreciated. She scribbled outside the lines, although I do believe New Britain is in New Haven County. So this is about, this is about New Haven and Fairfield counties. Thank you very much. Our next guest needs little introduction. And as far as I know, Susan Granger and I have no family connections. Susan is a product of Hollywood. Her natural father, Sylvan Simon, was a director and producer at MGM and Columbia Pictures. Her adoptive father, Armand Deutsch, produced movies at MGM. Her son, Don, will become the new head of production at Paramount Studios, the largest movie maker in the country. He is now. Congratulations. Congratulations. As a child, Susan appeared in movies with Abbott and Costello, Margaret O'Brien, Red Skelton, Lucille Ball, and Lassie. At Mills College in California, she studied journalism with Pierre Salinger, and she graduated from Penn with highest honors in journalism. Susan's a real media darling, appearing on radio and television as both an anchorwoman and a critic. She's been on American Movie Classics and Turner Classic Movies. Her book, 150 Timeless Movies, was published by Hannah Croy Creek. Her reviews are syndicated around the world and appear every Tuesday and Thursday in Westport Journal. She is now the resident movie guru at Sacred Heart University's Community Theater in Fairfield, and she hosts their Century of Cinema series. Let's get the applause meter up to 11 as we welcome Susan Granger.
Thank you very much. Now, I am standing here because Doug said very lightly, why don't you just cover everything that's going to open at the movies between now and Christmas and on television? So I have notes because I couldn't remember it all. Now, since the focus is local, let me start with Starstruck. That's the new classic film series at Sacred Heart University. We started out with High Noon, and my friend dear friend of 70 years, Maria Cooper Janis, Gary Cooper's daughter, brought her father's Oscar, and we talked about High Noon. Now, coming up on September 13th, we've got Peter McRae. We're going to be showing Sullivan's Travels, which, if you haven't seen it, everyone who's ever produced movies that I ever talked to, this is their favorite movie. So maybe you wonder why. It's just wonderful. And his father, according to Peter, is the biggest movie star you've never heard of, Joel McRae. And he stars in this. And then that's on Saturday, next Saturday. The following Sunday, I'm going to be talking with Chris Sarandon, and we're going to show Dog Day Afternoon, and he's going to give some insights on that. Coming up in October, we're going to show The Apartment, and Jack Lemmon's daughter, Courtney Lemon, will be talking about it. And then later on in November, Sachi Parker, who is Shirley MacLaine's daughter, is going to be discussing, we're going to show Terms of Endearment. So that's local. Now, some estimate that between the pandemic and the rise of streaming choices, 15 to 20% of the audiences have never gone back to their usual movie-going habits. As for the rest, they will line up at the box office if the movie strikes their fancy. So far, movies like Mission Impossible, Lilo and Stitch, and excuse me, and Weapons, excuse me, have all really done well at the box office. So what's on the docket besides sequels and superheroes, CGI, and AI? Now, speaking of AI, we have to talk about this a little bit because everybody wants to know about it. You know, it's very promising, it's very exciting, and it's definitely going to change some aspects of movie making, no question about it. But let me make one thing clear. AI is not a substitute for creativity. It's quite the opposite. AI is not imaginative, it's not original in storytelling. It simply recycles and repackages what's been fed into it. For example, AI could never have created Conclave because of its twist, unusual ending. Now, insofar as what's coming up, let's start with Hamilton. The filmed version of the Broadway musical opens tomorrow in theaters. And next week, Downton Abbey, the grand finale. These are all the ones I'm looking forward to. I couldn't cover, sorry, Doug, I couldn't cover everything. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey finds Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell as strangers who get to relive moments from their past. They kind of go through a mysterious arch phone booth and find themselves in different places, different times. Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another teams Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn, and it's about an ex-revolutionary trying to save his kidnapped daughter. The Lost Bus is a survival thriller starring Matthew McConaughey and America Ferrera. Now, he's a bus driver, and she's a teacher, and they have to get 22 students through a deadly inferno during the 2018 Camp Fire in Paradise, California. This opens on theaters on September 19th, and then drops on Apple on October 3rd. You're going to hear this more and more. This is the trend to watch out for. Concerning the quick transition from the big screen to streaming, Catherine Bigelow's thriller, A House of Dynamite, starring Idris Elba and Rebecca Ferguson, is about a single unidentified missile that's been launched at the United States. And that's in theaters October 10th and on Netflix on October 24th. Also in October, Dwayne Johnson is back in the ring with the Smashing Machine as a wrestler struggling with addiction with Emily Blunt and directed by Benny Safdie. Jennifer Lopez stars in director Bill Condon's adaptation of The Kiss of the Spider Woman, taking the role originally played by Chita Rivera. Daniel Day-Lewis is back on the screen, and he's in a family thriller called Anemone, directed by his son, Ronan Day-Lewis. You see, nepotism goes on everywhere. Julia Roberts spars with Andrew Garfield as academics who become entangled with a student's controversial sexual misconduct claim in a film called After the Hunt, Now that's going to be very controversial. The Netflix movie, The Woman in Cabin 10, will find a travel writer, Keira Knightley, on a luxury yacht, and she sees a passenger thrown overboard and goes to investigate. Emma Stone reunites with Yorgos Lanthimos in Begonia, a surreal satire. She's a powerful CEO who's abducted by a conspiracy-minded man convinced that she's an alien, secretly plotting to annihilate Earth. I wonder if she'll keep her clothes on this time. Anyway, sorry. Richard Linklater's Blue Moon recalls Richard Rodgers teaming with Lawrence Hart on Broadway. It's rumored to be Ethan Hawke's big breakthrough role. Deliver Me from Nowhere. Now, I haven't seen these movies, so I can't tell you. Doug also said, just slightly, who's going to win the Oscar? I don't know. I haven't even seen these movies yet. Deliver Me from Nowhere is a biopic set in the world of Bruce Springsteen, who's played by Jeremy Allen White. Remember, you know, he's in The Bear, and this is his big screen break. There's already Oscar talk about Colin Farrell as a self-destructive con artist gambler in Ballad of a Small Player. For horror fans, because after all, Halloween is coming up, Guillermo del Toro is back with Frankenstein, starring Oscar Isaac. Now we're on to November. James Vanderbilt's Nuremberg recalls the Nazi trials after World War II as Rami Malek plays a psychiatrist evaluating Hermann Göring, played by Russell Crowe. And to add a little local touch to this, James Vanderbilt is from Norwalk and was raised there. And I did hear from someone, like my son, who saw this movie, and he says it's terrific, just terrific. So keep Nuremberg in mind. No, and it's not being released by Paramount, so I'm not giving him a plug. Glenn Powell, who was so good in Hitman, teams with Josh Brolin for the dystopian thriller The Running Man, based on Stephen King's 1987 novel. Now, it opens in theaters. I don't know what's the matter with my throat. November 14th, and heads onto Netflix by December 5th. In Jay Kelly, George Clooney plays a celebrity who navigates life and fame while trying to figure out his own identity. He's got a star-studded cast with him: Adam Sandler, Laura Dern, Billy Crudup, Isla Fisher, and Greta Gerwig. Director Chloe Zhao, who's one of my favorites, she has a movie called Hamnet that delves into the heartbreak, loss, and crippling grief in Shakespeare's family when Shakespeare's son, Hamnet, died. And that's kind of, well, eventually Hamlet comes out of it. Now, we're all going to be excited about the last movie that I'm going to talk about for November, Wicked for Good. It's the second part of the musical featuring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, and I hear it is terrific. For December, there's Ryan Johnson's Wake Up Dead, Wake Up the Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, which continues the fun with Daniel Craig, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, and Mila Kunis. James Cameron, who was one of my favorite directors, comes back with Avatar: Fire and Ice. It's a sequel to 2022's The Way of Water, and it delves more into Pandora and those magical ash people with Kate Winslet, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Sam Worthington, and the usual cast of characters. The Choral is set in 1916 in the middle of World War I, about a choral society in Yorkshire with Ralph Fiennes. Song Sung Blue is based on a true story with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. Marty Supreme with Timothée Chalamet is a story based on ping pong champion Marty Reisman, with Gwyneth Paltrow as the wife of one of his competitors. Must be some hanky-panky going on. I'm just reading that into it. A thriller called The Housemaid with Sarah Sweeney as a housemaid for a rich couple who are sketchier than they appear to be. I wonder if she's going to be in jeans. Well, anyway. And for Christmas, there's A Christmas Affair, A Very Jonas Christmas, Jingle All the Sleigh. Think Die Hard meets Home Alone. Oh, What Fun, a dysfunctional family gathering. Silent Night, Deadly Night, a scary remake. A Man with a Bag, The Man with a Bag, teaming Arnold Schwarzenegger with Alan Ritchson of Reacher. I mean, these are two humongous men in an action comedy about recovering Santa's stolen bag. And A Merry Little Xmas, about a divorced couple spending one last holiday together. Now, on to television. Starting tonight on Peacock, there's The Paper, which hopes to turn the decline of journalism with mass layoffs, corporate capitulation, and the distrust of traditional media into comedic fodder. It's created by Greg Daniels, who did the mockumentary sitcom The Office, and is set in Toledo, Ohio, at the Toledo Truth Teller newspaper. Now that starts on Peacock tonight. You can rush right home and watch it. Brad Inglesbury, who created Mayor of Easttown, is back with Task, another HBO drama series set in the outskirts of Pennsylvania, investigating a series of robberies. Also this month, The Morning Show returns for its 4th season on Apple Plus with a look at media credibility in an era of fake news and political polarization. FX's The Lowdown stars Ethan Hawke, another Ethan Hawke movie, as a journalist self-styled he's a truth historian in Tulsa, whose expose of a prominent local family leads to a suspicious death. On Apple Plus also, there's The Savant, based on the real-life thriller with Jessica Chastain as a housewife who infiltrates the internet hate groups to deter mass shootings. In a search for truth and justice, that continues with an adaptation of Mick Herron's book, Down Cemetery Road. We should have collaborated on this and finding out about the books. On Apple Plus, following the disappearance of a girl in a peaceful English suburb, Matlock with Kathy Bates comes back, along with Only Murders in the Building, The Diplomat, and the final season of Stranger Things, thank God. If you enjoy historical drama, plan to see Netflix's The House of Guinness, tracing 4 heirs of the Guinness Brewing Company following the death of their wealthy father. In October, legendary filmmaker Martin Scorsese has the camera focused on him when Apple Plus debuts the documentary series Mr. Scorsese. In November, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who created Game of Thrones, they're back with Death by Lightning, focusing on the American presidency of James Garfield, who'll be played by Michael Shannon, who was assassinated by a mentally ill lawyer. And I didn't go into Christmas enough.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Thank you very much. And you didn't mention any of Hallmark's Christmas movies. Reportedly, in the Christmas season of 2023, Hallmark produced 45 different Christmas movies.
All with the same plot.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. And we're now accepting questions. There's wine and cheese over at the Wine and Cheese Bar. And if anybody would like to ask a question, I encourage you to go over to the side stage where Jennifer Keller is. Please don't all rush at once.
If I can also interject, if you weren't able to write down all the titles and all the museums, this recording will be available on our YouTube channel later tomorrow. And we do have museum passes at the patron service desk in case you want to go visit.
Thank you. And thank you all. Very much appreciate this. Have a good night and enjoy the rest of the week.
Maybe I could get you to adopt me?